Uninvited was the movie. Plot changes and casting calls. In the mid-1980s, outcome simulations Uninvited terrified players who thought it mentioned cryptic puzzles and eerie sense of isolation. Decades later, it remains a cult classic in the pantheon of point-and-click horror games. But imagine if Uninvited, with its Gothic mystery, supernatural intrigue, and surreal humor, wasn't a game at all, but a psychological horror movie. How would Hollywood adapt this 8-bit nightmare into a cinematic experience for modern audiences? Reimagining the plot for the big screen. A faithful adaptation of Uninvited would need more than a literal translation of its puzzles and gameplay. The film version would likely expand on the story's ambiguous backstory and its emotional stakes between the protagonist and their missing sibling. In the movie version, the story could open with a chilling car crash on a rain-slicked black road. The protagonist, unnamed as in the game, awakens alone and dazed, their sibling missing. The nearby mansion looming against storm clouds offers the only shelter. But once inside, the protagonist discovers that time, death, and reality itself has begun to unravel. To add cinematic tension, the sibling's disappearance might tie directly to the mansion's tragic history. Rather than a simple missing person mystery, the sibling could become gradually possessed by the malevolent force of Dracan, the fallen apprentice sorcerer. The audience would see glimpses of the sibling through flickering mirrors and static-filled home videos, building dread until the climactic confrontation in the mansion's observatory. The tone, Peak the Others meets Crimson Peak, a blend of Gothic grandeur, psychological horror, and supernatural decay. Key plot changes for film adaptation. 1. The protagonist gets a backstory. In the game, the hero is a blank slate. In the movie, they might be a skeptical journalist or a folklore researcher investigating the Crowley Estate, unaware that their family has ties to its curse. 2. Expanded lore of Dracan. Dracan might be portrayed not just as a villain, but as a tragic figure, a prodigy consumed by dark magic, echoing Anakin Skywalker or Tom Riddle in tone. Flashbacks or spectral visions might reveal his slow descent into madness. The mansion as a character. Think like the overlooked hotel in The Shining. The mansion itself would breathe with life, walls shifting, whispers in the air ducts, and portraits that seem to watch as the protagonist passes. The art gallery from the game could serve as a liminal gateway between dimensions. 4. Modernized setting. While keeping the classic Gothic feel, the movie might shift to the 1990s or early 2000s period. Close enough for nostalgia, distant enough to avoid smartphones breaking the tension. 5. A psychological twist ending. Instead of simply defeating Dracan, the film could end ambiguously. Was the haunting real, or a hallucination born from trauma after the crash? As the protagonist drives away with their sibling, faint whispers echo, suggesting the mansion's evil isn't done yet. Casting calls. Who could bring the Uninvited to life? The protagonist, Florence Pugh, brings it both vulnerability and intensity to her roles. Midsommar, so Don't Worry Darling, making her the perfect choice for a rational person, unraveling a supernatural nightmare. The sibling, Finn Wolfhard, whether as a younger brother, PC person, or older sister, PC NES person, Wolfhard could embody the sibling's eerie transformation from victim to vessel of possession, drawing his Stranger Things horror roots. Dracan, Bill Skarsgård. From it to Barbarian, Skarsgård masters a delicate balance between charm and dread. His portrayal of Dracan could merge tragic humanity with Lovecraftian terror. The Scarlet O'Hara Ghost, Anya Taylor-Joy, a sudden Gothic apparition with timeless poise and sorrow. Taylor-Joy could deliver an unsettling performance as the ghostly Belle, whose presence oscillates between silly ally and tormentor. Master Crowley cameo, Benedict Cumberbatch, a brief but pitiable role as the sorcerer trained Dracan. Cumberbatch's commanding screen presence could lend the film to a mythic quality, teasing future sequels or even a cinematic venture universe. Visual style and tone, directed by Ari Aster, Hereditary, Midsommar, or Mike Flanagan. The Haunting of Hill House, Doctor Sleep. The movie would combine psychological depth with dreamlike terror. Cinematography would emphasize chiaroscuro lighting, flickering candlelight, long corridors, and the decayed elegance of the mansion. The soundtrack would reinterpret the eerie NES score by Hiroyuki Masuno as a haunting orchestral score, with motifs and of detuned pianos and whispered choirs echoing throughout. Easter eggs and cameos. The cemetery maze could feature tombstones referencing Icom's other games, Ace Harding for Deja Vu, and Talamar for Shadowgate. The greenhouse scene could hide a demonic plant straight out of Little Shop of Horrors. The cracked Macintosh computer in the observatory could briefly flicker with the word MacMentor, linking the film to its gaming origins. Final thoughts. Uninvited as a movie could be a rare opportunity to blend old school horror with modern psychological storytelling. Its atmospheric mansion, cryptic clues, and tragic villains offer fertile ground for a haunting, intelligent horror film that pays homage to the early days of computer gaming while setting call among the modern horror cinema. In a world of remakes and reboots, Uninvited could stand out as something special, an invitation to fear, beauty in the shadows of memory that refuse to stay buried. Ever wonder what your favorite games, shows, or cartoons would look like on the big screen? Welcome to our playlist. FX was the movie, plot changes, casting calls. We dive into epic movie adaptations, imagining new twists to the story and casting the perfect actors to bring them to life. If you love exploring alternate versions of the stories you grew up with, or just want to see how your favorite characters would jump from screen to screen, this is your ultimate destination. So hit that playlist, buckle up, and step into the world where anything is possible and every story gets its Hollywood moment.